The time capsule. We were just kids when we buried it, a scuffed-up shoebox wrapped in layers of duct tape, stuffed with treasures we swore we'd always remember. It was Sarah's idea. A time capsule, she said, for our future selves. Dave and I just went along with it. Back then, everything seemed simple, and the future felt like a distant dream. 15 years later, we stood in Sarah's backyard, the same spot where we had buried it. The house looked smaller, less magical, but the memories rushed back just the same. Sarah had invited us over for a reunion of sorts, her suggestion to unearth our time capsule finally taking shape. "I can't believe we actually found the spot," Dave said, wiping sweat from his brow as his shovel hit something solid. "See? Told you I'd remember," Sarah said, smirking as she crouched beside the small hole. "Now let's see what treasure our tiny brains thought was important." The air felt colder as we lifted the box from the dirt. It wasn't logical, it was just a box, but the weight of it felt heavier than it should. We peeled away the tape, revealing the lid beneath. "Moment of truth," I said, my voice shaky with a strange mixture of nostalgia and unease. Sarah opened it. Inside, at first glance, were the expected items. An old baseball card, a faded friendship bracelet we'd made together, a small plastic toy. But then there were the other things. "What's this?" Sarah murmured, pulling out a small rusted key. It didn't look like something we would have owned. Dave reached in and pulled out a yellowed envelope with his name on it. The handwriting was shaky, unfamiliar. He frowned. "I didn't write this." Neither of us said anything as I reached for the last item, a leather-bound journal. It felt damp and cold in my hands. On the first page was my name, written in handwriting eerily similar to my own. The date written below it? Today's. "Is this a joke?" I asked, flipping through the pages. Each one was filled with detailed entries about my life, things no one else could know. My heart sank as I reached the final page. "Tomorrow, you'll find Sarah crying at the cemetery." "Stop messing around," Dave said, his voice sharp as he opened his envelope. His face went pale as he read aloud, "Your brakes will fail tonight. Drive carefully." "That's not funny," Sarah snapped, yanking the paper from his hand. She stared at it, her expression darkening. Who would do this? We sat there in silence, each of us holding something from the box, none of us willing to admit what we felt, that this was no prank. "Maybe someone got to it before us," Dave said, his voice shaky. "Maybe someone." "How?" Sarah interrupted. "Who would know about this? And how would they know?" She stopped herself. Her fingers trembled as she pulled the last item from the box, a photograph of the three of us standing in her yard as kids. But there was something wrong with it. Behind us, in the shadows, was a figure we didn't remember. It was tall and blurry, wearing a wide-brimmed hat. Its face was obscured, but its presence was undeniable. "That wasn't there," I whispered. "That wasn't there." The rest of the day passed in a blur. Dave left early, muttering excuses about needing to check his car. Sarah stayed quiet, her usual energy gone. I couldn't stop flipping through the journal, searching for answers that weren't there. That night, Dave called. His voice was frantic. "I almost died," he said. "My brakes, they just gave out. I barely missed a truck. This isn't a joke, man. It's real." The next morning, I found Sarah exactly where the journal predicted, at the cemetery, crying over her father's grave. She told me she hadn't even known he was sick. "The box," she said, her voice trembling. It's warning us, isn't it?" But I wasn't so sure. It didn't feel like a warning. It felt like something else, like we'd opened a door we weren't meant to. The journal didn't stop updating. Every day new entries appeared, predicting moments I hadn't lived yet. Some were small, insignificant. Others were terrifyingly specific. And then one day, the final page appeared. It read, "You should have left the time capsule buried. Now the box sits on my desk, its contents untouched, but the damage is done. Whatever we unearthed that day didn't just belong to our past. It's part of our future now, and it's not letting go."